follow any particular diet. When it comes to food and what I eat, I just try to get as many nutrients in as possible for the best price and enjoy the foods that I'm eating. In this video, I'm going to explain why I spend my money on certain foods versus others and go through my full food pyramid. All right, this is my nerdy mathematical way on how I figure out what to eat. You know my background, what I graduated with in college were degrees in economics and accounting. I even loved crunching numbers so much that I graduated top of class with an honors distinction in economics, but I'm going to make this very simple to understand. Here, I've got $5. When I look at food, I just ask myself, is the food worth the money? Is it a better financial investment for me to spend $5 on a cup of noodles or $5 on ground beef? Because very quickly I start figuring out these cup of noodles are actually very expensive. The ground beef is gonna give me selenium, iron, vitamin B3, vitamin B12, lots of nutrients. The cup of noodles, it's gonna give me heartburn and diarrhea. So to not get too complicated, every human needs protein. Protein is essential and critical for every human's health. I can get protein from spinach, I can get protein from nuts, from soy, from salmon, from beef. I have lots of different options on where to spend my money on protein, but plant proteins, they're considered incomplete proteins, whereas with animal proteins, meat, poultry, fish, eggs, and dairy, they're considered complete proteins because they contain all the essential amino acids that the body needs. They're highly digestible, more bioavailable, meaning the body can easily absorb and utilize the amino acids they provide. And in my opinion, animal proteins taste better than plant proteins. So again, I'm just a gal who studied economics. I'm not trying to follow a particular diet. I'm just trying to get the most bang for my buck. I know people watching right now, they're like, Lily, what are you talking about? Of course you follow a diet. You follow an animal-based diet. And sure, we can call it whatever we want to call it, but I truly don't care if I get my proteins from plant proteins or animal proteins, but my wallet cares. And it just so happens I can get more nutrients, aka more health and, better tasting food when I eat the zoo. So sure, I eat an animal-based diet because it just makes sense. More bad dad jokes on its way. And I've been eating this way for the last 3 years. And I wanted to put together this food pyramid because I just got my blood work done. And so this food pyramid is going to reflect what this last 3 years of eating does to my blood work. So if you're curious to see my blood work results, don't be silly, subscribe to Lillie, or just remember to come back. All right, my food pyramid, which I'm metabolically healthy, I'm active, I've never been on any medications. This morning I weighed 112 pounds. My food pyramid is going to be different than someone who's trying to lose weight. What I eat is going to be different than someone who has fatty liver disease. My meal plan is going to be different than someone who's trying to get rid of eczema. And I say this because the majority of my YouTube videos are geared towards helping people in those areas. My goal with the channel is to make the world a happier place. But I find it's really hard for people to be truly happy if they're not healthy. And again, I just want to help the majority of people who are sick, start feeling better again. So in the past, when I've shown what I personally eat as someone who's active and metabolically healthy, I didn't find it to be super relatable. But since you guys keep asking questions about what I put into my mouth, let's talk about it. Is that a weird way of saying it? What I eat. My particular food pyramid starts with grass-finished beef from a cow. I suppose the ground beef I eat is a little bit leaner as it is grass-finished because I get it from a local farmer. Also, all of the meat I eat, whether it be from a cow or another animal, is grass-finished, unless I'm out at a restaurant. Because I don't digest grain-finished meats very well, I will have more stomach pain and diarrhea, and I just don't feel as good when I have grain-finished meats. Grass-finished meats is a little bit more expensive. Trust me, my wallet knows, but I want to feel good and have a leaner meat with more omega-3s and monounsaturated fats. So to me, it's worth it. Again, throughout this video, I'm not saying people need to eat like me. I'm not saying people need to eat grass-finished meats. I know many people who have grain-finished meat and they do just fine with it, but this is just how I spend my dollars. So about 25% of my weekly calories come from ground beef. I eat ground beef every single day. It gives me tons of nutrients, doesn't cause me any issues, it's easy to make, and I think it's very tasty. And rather than me becoming very repetitive, unless stated otherwise, that is the reason for all the other foods in the food triangle. Another 20% of my food intake comes from any other kind of red meat. So that could be elk, bison, venison, or other non-ground beef cuts, like brisket, ribeyes, chuck roast, tomahawks, any other kind of red meat other than ground beef from a cow. So about 45% of my calories in a week come from red meat, and of that, 25% is just ground beef from a cow. Milk time. Next category would be dairy, which I opt for the raw A2 grass-finished dairy products. I have 2 cups of raw milk, 1 cup of raw yogurt, and 1 ounce of raw cheese every day. So about 25% of my calories come from raw dairy. All right, this next category requires me to explain the following. I eat 5 times a day. My first meal is a cup of raw milk. My second meal is a cup of raw milk. The third time I eat is a wild card. We're gonna come back to that. The fourth time I eat is ground beef and raw cheese. And the fifth time I eat is a cup of yogurt with a piece of fruit. Yes, I'm a creature of habit, and I need to mix it up more. I'm working on it. But as of right now, I do very much love my routines and the simplicity of doing the same thing every day. Now with the wild card meal, with our 7 days of the week, 3 of those days will be fish days, either salmon or sardines. 2 of the days are chicken days, chicken breast or chicken drumsticks. 1 day is a steak day, and the 7th day, we're gonna call it exotic meat day. So lamb, venison, elk, bison, chuck roast, or liver. I don't have liver every week, so I can't give like a weekly liver amount, but I'd say in an entire month, I have 16 ounces of liver. So a pound of liver a month. I'm having liver for lunch today. Oh, and I like the taste of liver. I know many people don't like the taste, but I'm one of those who actually enjoys it. I actually find it's like a steak, or it's very yummy. I think it tastes better than ground beef. And each week I have 8 slices of bacon and then butter throughout the week. So I'd say 15% of my diet is salmon, sardines, bacon, butter, chicken, liver, and lamb. I also take electrolytes each day, so I'll have electrolytes in my water when I'm at the gym, and then I'll have electrolytes in my second glass of raw milk each day. I get electrolytes from a company called Element, which is a really clean brand for electrolytes that has no sugar or artificial ingredients. These electrolytes add more sodium, potassium, and magnesium into my diet, which help me stay hydrated and have helped me with eye twitching and muscle cramping. If you want to check out Element, I'll leave a link in the description where you can get a free sample pack. The sample pack will give 8 packages with all of their different flavors. So again, the link to that will be in the description, or if you go to the URL drinkelement.com/Lillie Kane, that will also get you the sample pack with those 8 additional packages with your order. Next category is fruit, which we're first gonna talk about olive oil. Now, before people start going to the stores thinking they're buying olive oil, there's stats out there that over 80% of olive oils may be rancid or have canola oil in them. I haven't found a true olive oil in the US grocery stores that I would buy. I'll put up on the screen what I look out for on a bottle to know if it's true olive oil, and I'm guessing in European countries it may be easier to find true olive oil in the stores, but in the US, I wouldn't buy any. So to find a true olive oil, it's not easy. You have to understand the olive oil jargon, know what to look for, and it's not as affordable as other like animal fats. I would say olive oil and fruits in general are probably the most expensive thing in my diet. But the olive oil gives me more vitamin E, vitamin K, polyphenols, and monounsaturated fats. So to me, it's worth it. So I'd say 10% of my diet is coming from fruit, though of that, 3% is just olive oil, and the other 7% is whole fruits. You guys know I have fruit as my form of dessert with my yogurt each night. I'm not too picky on what fruit I'm eating, I just want it to be on sale. I mean, I did just buy pickles, which were not cheap, but I hadn't had a pickle in like 5 years or something, and it finally sounded yummy. But for the most part, I'm just getting whatever fruit is organic, on sale, and not moldy. So I swear, we spend like 10 minutes in the grocery store picking each fruit, Sherlock Holmes investigating it, making sure it doesn't have any white fuzz, black mold, or any nasties growing on it. But even still, we come home and those fruits, they are rotting, and we end up cutting into it and it has mold. So unfortunately, we do throw some fruit away, or we will go to the grocery store basically almost every week to return the fruit to get our money back. So that is why I think fruit is one of the more expensive foods that I eat, because not only would I get more nutrients just eating more animal foods, but also we do throw some of the fruit away. The last 5% of my diet would be eggs, bone broth, honey, protein powder, vegetables, condiments, seasoning, just randomness. Now with the eggs, I usually just have eggs when I'm traveling because it's easy, but otherwise at home, I usually only have eggs when I'm making a video to give people more options on nutritious meals to eat. I think people should eat eggs because they're incredibly nutrient dense. I just have a love-hate relationship with eggs because I overconsumed them and then they started giving me more dandruff. And at this point, I have tried just having the egg yolks. I've tried duck eggs. And as long as I don't overdo it with chicken eggs, then I'm fine. But for the last year or so, I'm kind of just grossed out by eggs. So I usually don't have them that much. We've got protein powder in the house, though it's mainly for my husband. He'll have protein powder every day. I might have protein powder one time a month, if that. With honey, I probably have 1 tablespoon of raw honey a week. With vegetables, I really just don't like the taste of them that much. And you know, $5 of vegetables or $5 in beef is not even a question. I am getting way more nutrients, more bang for my buck with the beef, but sometimes veggies add a nice flavor to my meals. If I have veggies, the ones that I enjoy are artichoke hearts, grilled onions, sauteed mushrooms, carrots, and potatoes, so I'll just have those randomly. Condiments and seasonings, again, no rhyme or reason. If I'm feeling fiery and hot, I'll have some Franks on top of my meat. I'm not trying to have a certain amount of garlic powder in a week. It's just, if I'm feeling like keeping the vampires away, I'll have more garlic. So I've been eating an animal-based diet for the last 3 years because, I mean, nutritionally, healthfully, financially, it just makes sense. But for me, the first year, I did approach it in more of a ketogenic way. So I was having less milk, yogurt, fruit. The only fruit I was really having was avocados and olive oil. But otherwise, the food pyramid I talked about today is very similar to the food pyramid I talked about a year and a half ago. So my blood test results are going to reflect someone who's been eating like this for the last few years. At this point in my health journey, as someone who's active and metabolically healthy, I don't choose to eat certain foods based on if it's carnivore or not, has carbs in it or not, is keto or not. If a food gives me nutrients, or at the minimum brings some sort of pleasure to my life, like mustard. I don't have mustard for tons of nutrients, but if the food doesn't cause me any negative reactions, and in fact, it just adds more happiness to my life, then that's a win, and I'm gonna eat it. I do create meal plans and work with people one-on-one to attain their goal, whether that be weight loss, healing an autoimmune condition, building muscle. And so if you're looking to book a coaching call, there'll be a link to that in the description. Otherwise, I hope you guys have a happy rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next one.